The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across Ellen's small bedroom, filled with the scent of old books and ilang-ilang. She sat on her bed, confusion and exhaustion weighing on her heart, her nursing uniform hanging like a question on the door. The mirror reflected eyes full of longing and doubt. Was this all there was? Dreams of working abroad felt distant, her world shrinking with each silent day. She gazed at a photo of her younger, hopeful self, praying for a sign to reignite her purpose. Little did she know, a single phone call was about to change everything. Beyond her door, Ellen's world revolved around her ailing mother, Elena. Each day began with gentle care, preparing lugao, reading stories, holding her mother's frail hand. Nursing at home was both a blessing and a chain, tying her to duty while her ambitions whispered of distant shores. Elena, ever perceptive, would say, "Anak, you have wings. Don't let me be your cage." Ellen's heart ached with gratitude and guilt. How could she leave? She packed her dreams away, convincing herself that love and responsibility were enough. Yet the longing for something more never truly faded. She waited, torn between two worlds. On a sweltering afternoon, the kind that makes the air shimmer and time seem to slow, the old landline phone rang out, its shrill tone slicing through the heavy silence of Ellen's modest home. The living room, bathed in golden sunlight, was still and peaceful, until that moment. The sound startled her, echoing off the simple walls, a sudden interruption in her daily routine. Ellen reached for the receiver, expecting perhaps a neighbor or a distant relative. But as she pressed the phone to her ear, she was met not with a familiar voice, but with a formal, almost regal tone, a voice from the royal court in Riyadh, thousands of miles away. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized this was no ordinary call. The caller explained that they were searching for a skilled pediatric nurse to care for the gravely ill son of a Saudi prince. Ellen's name, they said, had come highly recommended by someone who trusted her compassion and expertise. The words hung in the air, both flattering and terrifying. Then, to her astonishment, the prince himself came on the line. His voice, though dignified, was tinged with desperation, not as a distant royal, but as a father pleading for help for his child. He spoke of hope, of trust, and of the life of his beloved son resting in the hands of a stranger. Ellen stood frozen, the weight of the request pressing down on her shoulders. She could feel her pulse racing, her mind racing with questions and doubts. Was she truly ready for such a responsibility? Could she leave everything she knew behind for a world so different from her own? This was not just a job offer, it was an invitation into a world she had only glimpsed in stories and dreams. The opportunity was immense, but so was the risk. She thought of her family, her quiet routines, the life she had built with care and sacrifice. Yet deep down, Ellen knew she had been waiting for a sign, a moment that would show her the path forward. And now, that sign had arrived, not as a gentle whisper, but as a royal decree echoing across continents. She sat quietly, the phone still warm in her hand, her mind swirling with possibilities. Her simple life was on the verge of being upended, transformed by a single unexpected moment. The future was uncertain, but the call had awakened something inside her, a sense of purpose, a calling she could not ignore. The choice before her was clear, yet impossibly hard. To stay was safe, familiar. To go was to step into the unknown, to risk everything for a chance to make a difference. With a deep breath, Ellen made her decision. The journey that would change her life forever would begin with a single, life-altering yes. The decision pressed on Ellen's heart. How could she leave her mother? That night she shared the news. Elena listened, then smiled through tears. "Your heart is too big for just this house. This is your mission." With her mother's blessing, Ellen packed, each item a prayer for the journey ahead. Before leaving, she knelt for a final blessing. Go with God. Heal that child, then come home. Tears flowed, not just of sadness, but of love and gratitude. Her mother's blessing became her strength. Ellen was not abandoning her duty. She was expanding it. She left, carrying her mother's love as her anchor. The unknown awaited, but she was ready. Leaving her quiet street, Ellen entered a world of dizzying contrasts. At the airport, she was escorted to a private jet, luxury beyond imagination. As the plane soared, she reflected on the leap from her simple home to this new destiny. The journey was a bridge between who she was and who she would become. In Riyadh, the city's grandeur overwhelmed her, but her purpose kept her steady. A royal aide whisked her through dazzling streets to a magnificent hospital. The true test of her calling was about to begin. Ellen braced herself for the challenge ahead. The royal hospital wing felt more like a palace than a clinic. Every surface gleamed, and the air was thick with the scent of fresh flowers and polished marble. It was a place where silence reigned, broken only by the soft footsteps of nurses and the distant hum of medical machines. Ellen entered Prince Khalid's suite, a frail boy surrounded by machines, his father's eyes pleading for hope. The weight of expectation hung in the air, and Ellen could feel the tension in every glance exchanged between the doctors and the royal family. She paused at the threshold, gathering her courage before stepping into the world of privilege and pain. She greeted Khalid gently, focusing on comfort before medicine. Her voice was soft, her smile reassuring, as she knelt beside his bed and introduced herself. She knew that sometimes, the first step to healing was simply to be present, to offer warmth and understanding in a world that could feel cold and clinical. Her touch and stories from home brought a flicker of peace to the frightened child. Ellen spoke of the Philippines, of sunlit rice fields, gentle rains, and the laughter of children playing in the streets. These stories, woven with care, became a bridge between two distant worlds, soothing Khalid's fears and bringing a rare smile to his lips. Days passed. Ellen's compassion became the room's strongest medicine. She was there through every anxious night and hopeful morning, her presence a constant comfort. The routine of care, checking vitals, adjusting pillows, offering gentle encouragement, became a ritual of trust and healing. She learned Khalid's rhythms, sang lullabies, and shared tales of her homeland. Each night, her voice would fill the room with songs her own mother had sung to her, carrying Khalid into peaceful sleep. She listened to his fears and dreams, treating him not as a patient, but as a child longing for comfort. She treated him not as a prince, but as a child in need of love. Ellen's care was gentle and unwavering, her kindness a reminder that beneath the titles and trappings, every child needs to feel safe and cherished. A fragile bond formed, silent but profound. In the quiet moments between treatments, Ellen and Khalid found solace in each other's company. Their connection grew stronger with every shared story, every gentle touch, and every hopeful glance. In this palace of glass and steel, Ellen's care became Khalid's lifeline. The machines and medicines were vital, but it was her compassion that truly reached him, offering hope where there had been only fear. The nurse from Manila and the sick prince found hope together. Healing had begun, not just of the body, but of the spirit, as two worlds met in a single hospital room, united by kindness and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. It was a night that began like any other, the hospital corridors humming with the quiet rhythm of machines and distant footsteps. But suddenly, alarms shattered the peace. Khalid's heart had stopped. The shrill beeping echoed through the emergency room, slicing through the calm and sending a jolt of fear through everyone present. Panic erupted instantly, chaos threatening to overwhelm the team. Yet, in the center of the storm, Ellen stood as a pillar of calm. Her eyes were sharp, her mind focused, her presence grounding everyone around her. Without hesitation, she took command, her voice cutting through the confusion, steady, clear, and unwavering. She led the team, performing chest compressions with practiced precision, her hands moving with both urgency and care. Every instruction she gave was a lifeline, pulling her colleagues back from panic and into action. In the corner, the prince watched, his face etched with worry, hope slipping away with every passing second. The weight of a nation seemed to rest on his shoulders as he witnessed the battle for Khalid's life. But Ellen refused to surrender. Again and again, she ordered, her determination unwavering, pouring her will into every movement. Her focus was absolute. She would not let Khalid go without a fight. The team worked in unison under her guidance. After a second shock from the defibrillator, a miracle happened. A faint but unmistakable heartbeat flickered on the monitor. Khalid gasped for air, his chest rising as life surged back into him. Relief swept through the room like a gentle wave. Tears welled in the eyes of the staff and family alike. Ellen had pulled him back from the brink, her skill and resolve making the impossible possible. As the adrenaline faded, Ellen gently brushed Khalid's hair. Exhaustion etched into her features, but a quiet triumph shining in her eyes. She had given everything she had, and it had been enough. In that moment, she was more than a nurse. She was a savior, a guardian standing between life and loss. The room seemed to hold its breath, recognizing the gravity of what had just occurred. The prince's gratitude was silent but immense, his eyes meeting Ellen's with a depth of thankfulness words could never express. He knew she had saved not just his son, but something far greater. In saving Khalid, Ellen had restored hope to a family and to a kingdom that watched and waited. Her actions would go far beyond the hospital walls, touching lives she would never know. As she stood in the quiet hall, sunlight streaming through the window, Ellen's purpose had never been clearer. She was not just a healer, she was the breath that held a kingdom together. Khalid's recovery was swift. His smile returned, and so did his laughter. The prince, overwhelmed with gratitude, invited Ellen to the palace gardens. Amidst roses and fountains, he offered her riches, a permanent position, a life of luxury. Ellen listened, moved by his sincerity, but her heart saw another garden, her home in Manila. She remembered her promise to her mother. "Your Highness," she said, "my greatest reward is Khalid's smile. My work here is done. I must go home." The prince understood, honoring her sacred bond. Respect and gratitude filled the air. Ellen's journey was coming full circle. The return flight felt different. Ellen was coming home, heart full. Manila's familiar sights and sounds welcomed her like an old friend. She walked her street, every step lighter, every face dearer. At her door she called out, "Inay, I'm home." Her mother, stronger now, embraced her tightly. "Welcome home, my brave daughter." Over a simple meal, Ellen knew she'd made the right choice. True wealth was love, connection, and the courage to return. She was home, her journey complete.